This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by the gorilla, John Ryder, over Zoom once again. John, first and foremost, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Andy. How are you?
I'm good, mate. It's obviously good to hear you doing well. It's been about a month or so since we last spoke. I know my colleagues actually caught you at the Matchroom gym. I'm not sure if it was last week or the week before, but since obviously you've caught up with Boxing Social, how's life been?
Yeah, been good. I mean, obviously, I think it was a day later that I tweeted Canelo, so we missed out on that one when I see colleagues. But yeah, I mean, it's blown up since then. I mean, what a tweet to send out, and really building on that. And I mean, the social media is really getting behind it.
Let's obviously get straight into it. That Canelo fight. I know yourself and a few other British fighters are keen, trying to push it, trying to get your name out there. Where did kind of the whole first kind of tweet come from? What was the thinking behind it?
Well, initially, I hadn't heard, but Tony Sims texted me and said, "Send Canelo a tweet. Billy Joe's pulled out." So I did it, and yeah, I mean, not heard nothing back from Canelo, but I mean, the offer's been put out there from Eddie to Golden Boy, and I mean, we're doing all we can on social media to push it and show that we're really ready and able to do so.
What kind of approach do you take through obviously like kind of pushing your name out there? So it's obviously a fine line. You don't want to seem like you're kind of going to start frustrating Canelo, because you don't want to just be. I suppose you do want to be popping up all the time, but at the same time, you don't want to kind of annoy him. What's kind of a balance between the amount that you want him to try to see as to how keen you are?
Yeah, I'm not going to go and start slagging his mum off and things like that. I mean, it's not me. It never has been. I mean, got a lot of respect for Canelo as a fighter. He's a mega star. I mean, the biggest star in boxing. So I'll always keep it respectful, but keep my name out there and just keep busy and try and stay relevant and try and keep my name towards the top of the list.
Obviously, from a moment of from when you first tweeted him and up until now, I know you said that Eddie's kind of reached out to him, said you are available. Has there been any kind of discussions? Do you know if Eddie's had even a brief kind of chat with the guys who look after Canelo?
Not that I know of. I mean, I suppose the only thing they keep their cards close to their chest. They're probably weighing up every option and every opportunity and taking the dollars where they can and pulling back on whatever. So, listen, I appreciate that we're in like a global pandemic and with no crowd and no audiences, the money's not going to be there for these big fights. And I know that it'll probably be a career high payday for me, but I know that Canelo's going to have to take a pay cut. So I can see why these champions are reluctant to step in for the same fight, but half the money.
Obviously, just to touch on that there, you mentioned champions not stepping in that. Obviously, Billy Joe was due to face Canelo before lockdown, and since then there were talks again, and he's pulled out of everything now. What did you make of Billy Joe's decision to pull out?
Well, sensible. I mean, if he's not ready and he's not great, it shows that he's true intent. Like he's a true champion. He wants to protect his title. If he's underprepared, he knows he's not going to be at his best. I mean, in this lockdown, gyms have been shut. Gyms are still shut. I mean, we're lucky now. Boxing gyms are starting to open, and pro gyms, if you've been tested, you can get into. So, I mean, it could be that you're on 3 months without even hitting something. So, yeah. He's, I think he made the right decision. I know it's 10 weeks. People are going to say that's plenty of time, but I mean, to get your head right for that kind of fight, I mean, especially if he's not done nothing for the 3 months, then it's a hard ask.
You're not the only name, obviously, that's trying to throw your hat into the ring. You've got Callum Smith and Chris Eubank Jr. have also reached out from the British fighters. That is, in your own opinion, but who do you feel deserves it the most? If only one of you was to get it, who and why do you think a certain person deserves it the most?
Well, me, just straight up me, because I believe I should be the world champion. I believe that I beat Callum Smith last year. No discredit to Callum Smith. He's a good fighter. And it's got nothing to do with him, the judges' scorecards. But I believe that should have been my victory that night, and then belts should be around my waist. So I believe that if there is such thing as justice, then I'll get this fight.
How do you kind of play it out then? So are you kind of in that mindset of just continue to train, maybe look at how Canelo works and trying to kind of work your training around a potential Canelo fight, or Are you also looking at other opponents? Are you preparing for anybody else? You know, how are you kind of working around the current situation?
Just doing what we're doing. I mean, like we're in camp now, preparing hard. Um, Obviously, there's fights before me, so they're the main focus at the moment. But I mean, we're still very much in the dark of what Canelo's going to do. But I mean, I think it's 9 weeks away now, the Canelo fight, the proposed date for his next fight. So I'll be good for then. But if not, then when we get a heads up, I'll take my foot off the gas a bit and work towards a later date.
I mean, obviously, when me and you last spoke about you've always had, you know, you did have a lot of noise about a potential Rocky Fielding rematch. Did anything come of that, or did it all just kind of slowly ebbed away?
I don't know. It all went very quiet. I mean, he said what he said. I said what I said, and I think that was the end of it. Really. I mean, I know that people still think it would be a good rematch, and like I say, it would have been after the loss for the British title. But I mean, but I feel like I had a good win. Well, I know I didn't get the win, but I had a good performance last time. He had a good comeback performance, but it was at different levels. Do you know what I mean? So, but I mean, I'm sure, like I said, if it's for the right thing, then why not?
Away from Canelo, is there anybody else who you are kind of looking at? Is there anybody in particular who sticks out? I know you're keen for that Callum Smith rematch if that was available, but is there anybody else who is sticking out for you?
Well, just someone like Danny Jacobs. I mean, I know he stepped up to 168. You see him fight Chavez last year, started this year, sorry. But Chavez was a cruiserweight by the time he was in that ring. It was a liberty. But I know that Jacobs has said that he wants to fight another 168 contender before he steps up for the world title. So listen, I'm happy to be that man. Let's have it for a final eliminator, and the winner goes on and fights for another world title.
When do you think we will have an update as to what you have lined up next? What's your own cut-off point until you can finally turn around and just think, right, I either have something to work towards or I can just take my foot off the pedal a little bit and just ease back off?
Well, to me, I'll keep my foot on the pedal till we hear that Canelo's got an opponent, and then from then we'll sit down ready and see what dates he's got proposed coming up, and just figure out if and when.
Did you ever imagine that you would be in this position? But obviously, following on from Callum Smith, that your name is firmly in the mix for a potential Canelo fight. Did you ever think that on the back of that fight, even though you didn't get the decision, you would find yourself in kind of this position now?
No, I mean before the fight, I knew that beat Callum Smith, and there's a good chance that fight would come. But I mean, obviously, the decision didn't go my way. But I know Eddie Reynoso was watching the fight and the Canelo team, and they had it like as me winning. So I mean, now's the perfect time to take this kind of fight and show that they're. I mean, in my eyes, they're fighting the true number one super middleweight in the world.
John, obviously, just before I let you go, you've got a couple of campmates who are preparing for their own fights. Just touch on them guys as well. How's Ted been looking ahead of his clash with Sam Eggington?
Ted's looking really good. I mean, I left the gym before he started sparring today, but he's looking class. People don't always see the best of Ted, do they? They see him brawl at times and get in and have a real scrap. But he's got a great boxing brain and a great understanding. So as long as he uses that and he's sensible, then he should come away victorious.
You've obviously, you've suffered a few defeats in your career, and as has Ted over the last year or so, he suffered two defeats and then a draw as well. What are you kind of saying to him? Because you've seen how your career has progressed on the back of that and how you've been able to rebuild. Is Ted feeling the pressure? Is Ted looking at you thinking, where do I go if things don't go my way against Sam?
I don't know. So I think I've known Ted for a long time. I've known him since he was 14. I mean, we go way back, but I think I've not even got to say anything. He can just look at me and see that I've lost at stages that he's lost at and lost worse. Do you know what I mean? And look what I've come back to, the stage I've come back to get to. So I think he takes a lot of confidence from that and knows that he can do the same.
And obviously another man who's preparing his Felix cash for that Jason Wellborn bout. How's Felix been looking?
Yeah, again, I mean, nice and sharp. I see him do a few rounds today, and he looked well. He's really thinking. He's really setting into the sport and calming down, and just he's got a great boxing brain as well. But he knows that Jason Wellborn could provide some problems, so he's being sensible and he's taking it really seriously.
we're obviously starting to see the slow return of British boxing as well, John. We're going to have our first show back today. Frank Warren's putting it on. Will you be tuning in? And if so, how excited are you just to see British boxing back?
I'm buzzing. I mean, it's been a long time, and there's only so many classic fights you can watch on Sky Sports and watch that you've seen over the years. So I'm buzzing to see a bit of fresh action on the screens tonight. Yeah, it'd be great.
John, we will leave it there. I will leave you to enjoy the rest of your day. But before I let you go, what would you like to say to everyone who tunes in to watch our interview?
Just keep supporting. I hope I can get this Canelo fight and go out and cause a big upset. I mean, it won't be an upset for us, but it'll be an upset for them. So just stick with me, and hopefully we'll have some big news soon.
John, it's been a pleasure as always to catch up with you. I'll hopefully see you in person soon to be able to do an interview. Stay safe, mate, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you for speaking to Boxing
Take care, Andy. Thank you, mate.